Let's
like
get things rolling, man.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm excited. I love this topic. And we're business people. We love messaging. We love helping nonprofits, obviously, but we love the succinctness and the power and ammo that you can get out of explaining your mission's message. It's a tongue twister for me. In 10 words or less. I just love this, man. And I was talking to our team about it, this week too. We were talking to our social media gals about it when they were putting out some stuff about it. It was important for us to be able to say what we do in 10 words or less. And I love how you say it all the time. You say it every week. You go, yeah, we help nonprofits raise more money. That's what we do. Yeah. It's 10 words or less. Hey, what do you guys do at HGA Fundraising? I'm in a building. I'm in a shared space right now, the studio, and there's a lady who says, what do you do? And I went just the other day. So what do you guys do? You're HGA Fundraising. What do you do? I see the screen through the window and all that stuff. And I go, well, we help nonprofits raise more money. And then the cool thing about it is, and I think what we're going to be able to uncover, because we really want to get in the weeds with everybody and help you. This is the second time we've done this. It's probably been about a year or so since we have, Jay, but we want to actually get folks on. Tell us what how you do explain it. We have some pet peeves of ours. But what I love about, I'll just keep on using our example. It's, yeah, we help nonprofits raise more money. And then someone will say, well, how do you do that? And then you can get into your mission statement and who you're working with and who you're helping, right? And then it opens up, it's almost kind of like you're scripting this beautiful conversation. But what's important is people call it an elevator pitch. People call it 10 words or less. Be able to tell yourself, sell yourself in the first 10 seconds, the first 10 words. I've heard all these different things, but it really, really does. It really sends home what you do quickly and succinctly. And it opens up a conversation, which is exactly what we want to end up happening when we're exposing our mission and who you are working for to folks that want to end up giving and supporting and volunteering and all that good stuff. And we just really love this. And then from there, also,
I'm gonna interject for just a second.
Long intro.
State of the end and win. If you stay to the end and win, we're glad you could be here. Use the chat feature, ask a question, do whatever you want to do. We're going to give away a trip at the end if you're here live. If you're watching this in recorded version, we're so glad you could do that. Please leave a comment. We love the feedback. And just any thoughts that you have about what we're saying today. And, really is what Trevor said. It's how to communicate your mission in 10 words or less. And I'll tell you where this kind of came from. We've worked with nonprofits all the time. And over the past 30 years, when you go around the room and say, what do they do? And you'd get, if you ask 10 people, literally in a boardroom or committee or volunteers,
answers, unfortunately,
you get 10 different answers. They're kind of waiting. And I did this one time. And we went around, and it finally, I got to the executive there. She's a CEO, actually, executive director, CEO.
Sure.
Synonymously. Yeah. And she kind of had this look on her face and smiled, and she went through their mission. And I said, now who all here is that new to? And this is the volunteer group that's putting on a big fundraiser for them. And they all said it. And what this does, it's not a mission statement, it's a marketing statement. Okay. I love that. And what this does, it allows you to have continuity throughout your organization.
Yep.
We have people all the time say, well, I can't get my volunteers, I can't get my board, they're just not getting there. But we don't even know what it is. And I did a little experiment. We had our HGA fundraising boot camp in Dallas this year. And I did a little experiment, and it was kind of a rigged game. I knew what the outcome was going to be, but I said, I want everybody to write down in 10 words or less. Tell me about what your organization, what you do, what your mission is. 10 words or less. Well, the first thing that happened is nobody could figure out how to get it in 10 words or less.
Yep.
And they're trying to do it. But the most interesting part was I picked on 3 people. They all happened to be from the same organization. One was the executive director, one was the former president of the board, and one was the current vice president of the board.
Yep.
And 3 people gave me 3 different answers. And I told them, and there was a couple other people, we had examples, they did the same thing too. Yep. And my point was, the whole thing, I said, if you guys aren't saying the same thing, how can everybody else possibly understand? Your board, your volunteers, your donors. So if you want to get that alignment to happen, this is what's going to put you in a position to be able to communicate really simple, okay? To have an initial conversation, make it easy.
Yep.
So when people ask me, and the way it kind of came up, people would say, "What do you do?" Well, at HJ Fundraising, we sell trips and experiences. We have all this, and I've lost them. They have no idea what the heck I'm talking about.
Yep.
They don't know.
Yep.
So, but if I say, "What do you do?" Well, I help nonprofits raise more money. Oh,
Oh,
really? Cool.
okay, you
Okay.
do
Well,
that.
nice
Yeah.
talking to you.
Yeah.
But it may come back and they go, "Well, how do you do that?"
Yeah. Yep.
That opens up a conversation.
Yep.
So and I'm going to use this for an example so you guys know where I'm coming. If somebody came up and let's say I'm with a nonprofit, hey, I'm Jason Ledlow and I'm with Camp for Kids, and we send kids with cancer to camp.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't have to have any more else. That's just what we do.
Yeah.
We don't have to give a 30-minute dissertation about what where our origins were, that we're a 501c3, or that
Please
we
don't
do all
that.
that. Nobody cares.
Yep.
The name of the organization, I work with ABC Charity, and we send kids with cancer to camp.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. All I got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because once I do that, I just said, this is what we do. You know, it's like if you go to a company, let's just say UPS. What's UPS do? We're the tightest ship in the shipping business. Maybe that's FedEx. I don't know, but one of them. Okay. You know, when it positively absolutely has to get there, you send it by FedEx. Whatever those things are, they're just marketing statement. That's all it is, a marketing statement.
Yeah. Tagline, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. What do you do?
Yep. I love that.
And so I think once we have this idea that this is not a replacement for our mission statement.
Nope.
This is not, what we're going to bury everything around, but
it's just not a paragraph long.
Started. Yeah. It gets the conversation started.
100%.
So I would like to, as you said, Trevor, let's make this an active exercise. Do I have a volunteer who'd like to be here or like to go first? Just give a hand raised and we'll call you out. And I promise you, this will be painless. It's not anything. Throw your hand up and I'll pull you in here if you want to, or just, if you'd like to try it, and we'll figure one out for you. Because sometimes, it's just drilling things down. Anybody?
Philip has a question.
Philip,
we're waiting for someone to volunteer. Most of it argues why, who, what, when, where, and why. Most of us would argue why is the most important answer. What is secondly important? What is least important? Are small charities forced to answer who, or planning for charities forced to answer when? Why you do what you do, I actually don't think is paramount in this exercise, Philip, if you don't want me to say. And so, Philip, do you mind just coming on? You don't have to share your screen or nothing like that, just so we can have some dialogue with you. Are you okay with that?
Okay, let me bring you in real quick.
Right on, man. Thank you. Ours is 11 words.
Nope, got to be 10.
I love it, man. Well, you're next. You're next. Hey, Philip, can you hear us?
I sure can.
Oh, hey, cool. Hey, Philip from DC. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Hey, what's the name of your organization?
So I work with a number, but the one that I'm looking at right now is an organization called the Dedalian Foundation, located in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
And they have a number of different programs focused on both past, present, and future.
Okay.
Around military pilots. And the question is how do you unite the past, the present, the future, who our current members are versus who are future?
Okay. All right. I love it. I love this stuff.
Yeah, me too. Okay. I'm super into it.
So you just said pilots. I didn't say, well, past, tank drivers and future.
Yeah. Military or
horse jockeys.
Yeah, I get that. All military. San Antonio. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Cool.
So give me one service that you do.
So in the past, we do historical records of World War I pilots. In the present, we do fellowship of active duty military pilots on bases and retirees. And then future, we do scholarships for young pilots, as well as awards programs and other recognitions.
Fun. The Dedalian Foundation, just in that area, not nationwide.
It is nationwide. It's about 9,000 members, close to 10. And It is two entities that again are looking for a united vision statement. You have the future-oriented charitable arm, and then you have the member association, which is the past and present. And so they both have great vision statements that I think are quite impactful. But unifying the two, whether it requires that past, present, future, or whether it requires a different approach on one of these 5 questions, who we are, what we do, where we do it, when we do it, why, is the question on the table.
I love that.
Okay, I'm going to give you a quick thing real quick, okay?
Thanks,
so I hope this is going to help. So what I wrote down is, and again, this is just how you start, okay? This is just a start, because it's going to be more than 10 words, but we're talking about how we get there. We recognize our military pilots of the past and support pilots of the future. Okay, that's a start. All right, and you say, because remember what we're trying to do. You don't have to use my stuff, or it could, and you can say it sucks. I don't care. That's not the point. The point is, you've just got to be able to start a conversation. This is a marketing statement. This is not everything we do. It does not have to be all encompassing, because there's not 10 words that can encompass everything that we do at HGA.
It's not a
There's
passage.
not 10 words that can accompany everything that you do at that organization or any other organization or anybody else's. But what we're trying to do is to give something that we can have as a conversation starter. That's all this is. You could say supporting America's military pilots, past and future. Okay.
Past, present, and future.
Is that, again, you've got to use your words, your things, your deal, but I'm just trying to give you some ideas on how you come up with this, because where we get bogged down, I think, Stephen, and you can tell me if this is the case for you guys. Sorry, Philip. Golly, sorry.
No, you're good, brother.
Mad cow moment. Is where we get bogged down is we don't want to leave anything out, because we're in the world of all inclusivity. This is not that exercise, okay? This is just simply to talk to somebody, to start a conversation. Hey, you're what do you do? I'm with the Dedalia Society. Yeah, really? What do you guys do? We recognize, support and recognize pilots, military's pilots, past and future.
Yeah.
No kidding. My great uncle was a World War II pilot. That's exactly what we do. So now we get something going on, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to make it broad enough that we can start a conversation to find a connection.
Yeah, I got 10 words or less. I think we're awesome.
So
yeah.
So is that helpful, Philip?
I think we're in a good spot.
Does that help with the question is what I want to make sure.
Very much so. And I'm excited to see how this conversation continues with the problems that others are having.
We recognize military pilots nationwide, past, present, and future.
We recognize America's military pilots.
I love that.
Present,
I love that.
All this stuff. And see, that's how it happens. You can't just sit there and go, well, golly, and that's the exercise. That's why we do this is because how do we get it down? How do we narrow it down? And I'm not going to say 10 words is the gospel, because it's just my rule. I just made it up. I made it up.
I'd like to get pretty close.
10 words or less, because it rolls off the tongue. If I said 12 words or less, it just, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But you've got to be able to do it, because again, this is a marketing statement. So you also want to think about how it looks like in print. What is this going to look like in print? Is it going to, does it roll off the tongue kind of easy? Can I make a little bit of a change? Can I take a little poetic license here and do something with it? Because it's a marketing statement. Okay. It doesn't have to be all encompassing of everything we possibly do. It's just a conversation starter, and we don't leave anybody out. We don't have to leave. Just in that statement, did we leave anybody out? Maybe it seems more broad than what we actually do. Because obviously supporting military pilots of the past from World War I, and which is a fascinating time in aviation as a pilot for me. And the incredible things that they did and what they faced in Europe.
Nice.
So you take that time, but so that's the recognition, and you got to let people have some, ownership on how they interpret it.
I love it. Yeah. The creative freedom you're talking about. What's interesting to me is the minute that Philip was talking about past, present, and future, You came up with something that we tell nonprofits all the time about their events, but I actually think there's some symmetry to how you can explain it, because it's kind of a beautiful scenario where you're able to say, because Jason's always saying, you need to talk to folks when you're talking about your mission, or you're at your event, or you're celebrating, raising money, all the above. You need to be able to tell folks what you've done, what you're doing, and raising money for what you want to be doing moving forward in the future. So I actually think that's really blissful that you have that opportunity to. And then from there, Philip, I saw your last comment about that we remember the past, honor the present, while inspiring and empowering America's youth to become military aviators. I think that's really, really cool. I think you can even shorten that.
But it's a mouthful.
Yes. And then the conversation, it's a start, but I think the conversation there, then you have 3 downlines. You have 3 ways you can go, because Jason's a pilot. He can talk about how fascinating it was, during aviation, World War I, and how do you support like those, aviators and their families, for instance. What are you doing currently for the folks that are active, and what are you doing to inspire folks? So you could have 3 separate conversations off of that one statement. And we're almost saying, we are saying, keep it open-ended by design. Right.
Yeah, because you got somebody that sits there and goes, my kid, he's a sophomore in high school, loves, all he can think about is being a pilot, and he's going to apply to the military, to the Air Force Academy.
Yeah.
Or he's at, they're Texas A&M, and he's, I'm just saying, all these things
can go a lot of different directions.
All these things are gonna flow out of this.
Yeah.
So when we talk about this, and especially the challenge for us as nonprofit professionals, or you all, is, how do I get everybody on board? How do I do it?
Yes.
One of the things, and if anybody else is ready to do what we just did,
let's do it.
Please, we're taking to come up here. Let
we
me
want to
make
take
sure.
Everybody.
Yeah, I think Philip, are you still there? Oh, here we go. Let me move
Bev, you're
him.
next, if you like. Ours is 11 words, she says.
Let me get this done.
Cool. I love that one. I like this exercise a lot.
Okay.
Also, we wanted to say this, we were mentioning, I was very long-winded at the onset, but we want to get in a situation where, let's just say you're all in an office building, for instance, or everyone, like Jason said, he had the exercise where everyone answered differently in the room, in the boardroom or the committee room. If someone walks up to someone and says, hey, what do we do? It's an exercise. We want everyone to be able to say the same thing. We want symmetry and succinctness with that message. That's what our end goal is, right?
And it's got to start somewhere. You've got to start somewhere. And this is not something I want to this is kind of the sneak attacks, what we'll say. You don't have to start and sit there in a board meeting and go, okay, everyone, we're really trying to give a marketing statement. So how do we go about doing this? Or we're going to go engage somebody to come up with a marketing statement. You don't need to do all that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on this call, you can start doing it right then. And how you start, and I'm going to give you an example of how this works. We're in Mexico, hanging out in the pool.
Oh, yeah.
Talking to another guy there. I'm talking to another guy. He's a dad. We've got kids. We're talking about
Jeremy.
We're talking about.
Jeremy just reached out to me on LinkedIn yesterday.
He did meet me as well.
Okay, cool.
He said, I finally tracked you down. And
that's
so
awesome.
I'm talking to this guy, and we start talking about, oh, what do you do? I said, well, we help nonprofits raise more money. And he goes, no kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. He goes, well, I work, for Microsoft, and we're working with this stuff, such and such, and we work with nonprofits and blah, this, that, and the other program, and we have this other thing, and starts to, he starts going to town, and next thing you know, he said, well, I'm going to have to get this guy in touch with you, because he runs the AI program that we've got set up, and it's specifically for nonprofits.
Yep.
And he goes, I think that would be great for him to come, because it just really is. We set it up to help empower nonprofits to be able to be more productive.
Yeah, I love that. Super cool.
And we're gonna get connected. But that happened because I didn't say, well, I'm with HJ Fundraising, and we sell trips and experiences that nonprofits use in their charity and gala fundraisers, along with a software platform that you can use to do this, that, and the other, and blah blah blah. Honor.
Honesty, gratitude,
and advancement. I'm just like, how do I get that?
Yeah.
So see, there you go. I say honor. Trevor says honesty. We've been back and forth. So see, these things are a work in progress. And what you got to understand is that's how this starts. This is not something that you have to go, you can do it, what I call sneak attack, and just start using it.
Yeah.
Because that's really kind of how it happened with me. And I got the idea from a friend of mine that he had a company, sold it for a whole lot of money. And they worked with like people like Disney and all the animation deals, and they would teach people how to animate all these objects and things. And that's really what they do, is called digital tutors. And so whenever people would say, what do you do? And he goes, oh, we teach people how to make movies and games.
Boom. That's intriguing.
Very intriguing. It was a great conversation, because you go, wow,
Yeah.
tell me more about that. And then he would go and talk about what they do. But he
Yeah.
did it across his company, and he's the one that started doing it. Just like I started saying, we help nonprofits raise more money. And
I
then
love that.
it just has grown from there. So you can do this with your organization. You don't have to sit there and go stomp your foot and go, nobody's listening, nobody's wanting to do this. Just start using it. Because
Plus,
it's a
trust me,
marketing
if it's
because
good
again,
and it's succinct,
yeah.
people will get with the program. That's for
well,
sure.
and again, because it's a marketing statement, not a mission statement.
Yeah.
We're not
It's not your Bible.
recreating our corporate values, and we're
Yeah.
not going to go back and change all of our underwriting thing, you know, all these different things that you've got to go get approval on and get the board to go and get my executive director. You start doing it.
Yeah.
And doing little taglines like that, and you can kind of change the world just one thing at a
Can
time.
anyone
So-
else share what they say right now when someone at a networking event or at an event, maybe where you're a guest? Can you share and type out what you say right now, just so we can get our eyes on it and maybe have a conversation about it? Or do we have anyone else that's willing to volunteer just to come on without their camera?
Here, I'll just let Bev come on, because I know Bev.
I was gonna say, Bev, you're next. Yeah.
Let's let Bev. Okay, Bev, you should be able to talk now. Have to unmute.
Hi, Bev.
Hi,
How are you?
How are you?
I'm well.
Right on.
Warm, but well.
Yeah.
Is the rush down there in Norman? Is it getting busy down there?
It's,
All the kids moving in?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
My
can
son
see
moves
the
in this
traffic.
weekend. Yep. My son moves in this weekend. So
That's awesome.
okay. So
Yep.
Food and Shelters Share Center helps lift people of poverty.
And how? By offering what services, Bev?
The Share Center is a free market
Okay.
that people can come in and self-select foods that are healthy, that they will use, that they will eat.
Provides healthy students. And it's food for folks that qualify, or they can just come in.
They, people who are struggling with poverty, food and shelter overall
Okay.
is primarily deals with homeless.
Yep.
And provides a lot of services. This is only one of them,
Okay.
but people, it's a self-select. It's just like a grocery store.
Yeah. Awesome.
They are given coupons.
Yep.
They can select so many fruits,
Yep.
so many vegetables, so many cleaning items.
Yep.
One thing I would say, you know, because I know a little bit about this organization down there, just very small amount, but I know the Share Center, you know, it's kind of known as the Share Center. Nobody calls it Food and Shelter Share Center, correct?
That's correct.
So I would drop Food and Shelters off of it.
But the reason why we have Food and Shelter is because that's what everyone knows. The Share Center just is opening this month.
Okay, then drop the Share Center off and just say Food and Shelter. Food and Shelter
Well,
helps lift. Let me finish for just a second.
Yeah.
Food and Shelter helps lift people out of poverty. Okay. So
Yeah,
tell me,
that's
so really,
correct.
how do they? Because here's the thing. Well, how do they do that?
Yep.
We just opened the Share Center.
Yep.
And that creates the conversation. It doesn't even have to be part of the marketing statement.
Yep.
Because
Okay.
your marketing statement again is the conversation starter.
I also, I understand it's not nationwide, it's community driven and acts up, you know, on behalf of the community. I like adding the word community when you can. I just jotted on some notes that when you start having a conversation about it sounds like you're passionate about the grocery side of things, Bev, which I think you should be. I would
Well, that's what
add,
we're raising money for.
I love it. I love it. And I think that you should add nutritious to that statement. Yeah. I think
Good
that you should.
point.
Well,
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm gonna. Yeah, see, I'm
but it's I'm talking about
like,
the conversation.
to me, that's a big word that doesn't roll off the tongue very well. But
I'm not
that's
talking
okay.
about I'm not talking about the 10 words or less portion. I'm
Yeah.
talking about when you start having a conversation
Yeah,
about what
yeah.
it's doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think, you know, the underprivileged folks in our community by nutritious food. Yeah, that they'll have
I think,
access to.
you know,
Yeah.
you're raising money for something.
Yeah.
Again, we're always raising money, right?
Mhm.
If it's the share center this week, if it's we're trying to have shelter next week, if we're
Yeah.
trying to do this, so the conversation needs to be something common that's going to span some time. Okay.
Yep.
Because how do you know? Because what you're doing is this is what we do to start the conversation of how you do that. And you know, even if you're sitting with somebody who knows you're going to ask them for money, and I called Calvin and I said, "Hey, Calvin, it's Jason Ledlow with Food and Shelter Services. How's it going, man?" He goes, "Yeah, man, good. What's going on? You know, good to talk to you. I know we had some time. Well, I just want to let you know that, you know, we're setting up the share center that helps lift people out of poverty." Well, does a share center help lift out people out of poverty? Not what you told me. What you told me is it feeds people.
Yeah.
And I think this is where we start getting too convoluted and we start trying to really mix and match. And well, we're trying to raise money for the share center. Okay, but you're still raising money for food and shelter of Norman,
Mhm.
you know, and
Yes.
and that was
I
where I
like
thought
community.
I thought where you
Yeah.
were going to go. One of the biggest mistakes that we see and is that we want to try to feel big and feel broad. And I
Sure.
don't think I told him he ought to be on here, but I don't see him on here today. So we'll talk about him. If he was, I would say, I won't say his name, but I was talking to a gentleman yesterday, actually earlier this week, and he's in southern Pennsylvania,
Mhm.
and we're talking about, you know, he's raising money, and it's very specific to that community. This isn't something on the nationwide. This is not even the
Yeah.
statewide. This is
I
very
think you
something
have to tap
specific.
into that. Yep.
Wonderful website, beautiful, looks great, got
Mm.
all the stuff. Not one place, not one, does it say Southern Pennsylvania. Not one place did it give anything specifics to the community. Not one
Mhm.
place did it talk about
Yeah.
in that direct piece of it.
Yeah.
And I think that we
You got to lean in
really
on that one.
lean
Yep. Big
in
time.
because
Yep.
the place that people will support is their own community. Very
100%.
first. And this goes to national organizations. We deal with national organizations that are very, very large. And
But they
are
fundraise
very-
locally.
They
Yeah.
fundraise locally, and they are
Yeah.
very specific within that
Yep.
community, what's happening in that community, where those dollars are going, and how it affects it, because that's where most people want to do. Very, very, and I'm saying in the gamut of giving, and I don't have the exact stat, but I've seen the statistics, but I just know that the majority of money that's given is given community, it's community driven. So in other words, the majority of money is given into the community that they currently have.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so I think we just want to make sure that when we're doing this, we keep those things in place. Because if you
100%.
say, well, we're stomping out poverty, what does that mean? Well, we're a nationwide program that sets up food and shelter.
That's a
for
lot.
this, that, and the other.
You're talking about feeding America. That
Okay.
mission, that
Well-
that message about the mission would be much more difficult to convey, I think.
Well, but it's going to get
Yeah.
harder to do it because, well,
Yeah.
how much money goes to where I live?
Exactly.
You know, in this case, Norman, Oklahoma. How much
Yeah.
money's going to Norman, Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Well, you know, we really, okay. So that's where I wanted to make that point.
And families, youth, adults as well, Bev, while we still got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
You know,
Yeah.
Okay,
you know,
I'm
even the
sending
flip side of
something
that-
else here. 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What did I
Yeah.
say?
So- well, just
How about-
to make this point, you know, Philip's talking about something that is national.
Yeah.
So it is because, you know, but it's a very specific group. Okay.
Yeah.
So you either have to isolate, you know, this is the group of people that we're helping.
Yep.
This is the community that we're helping,
I love
or
that.
this is the very specific group within the community.
Yep.
So you just tying those things in together, I think, are really important. But again,
Yeah.
we're back to having a mission, you know, not a mission statement, but just a marketing statement.
I love that. The
Could
share
be
center
helps.
helps.
That's
the share
really
center
good.
helps feed struggling families in
Good.
Norman. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
So you can see how, thanks,
I love
Bev.
that.
I really
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on.
That's good, Bev.
Thank you for sharing. You're always such a,
The Share Center helps feed struggling families.
anybody else?
Norman. I like
Yeah.
struggling or underprivileged, either or. Yeah, I like struggling.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, I'm throwing around some
Underprivileged, I think, is overused. I like struggling.
No, you're right. You're right. I was just playing with it. I was just going down some
No, I
notes.
think I think it's good.
Yeah.
Hey, anybody else want to come on and do this? Because I got a couple of thoughts I want to share. I know Trevor does as well, and we want to. If you're thinking about it, if you're thinking, well, I think I kind of
type
got
it out in the Q&A or come on with us. Like I said, you don't have to
Yeah.
have your camera on if you don't want to, but we'd like to.
Yeah, we're
like to work through
really
it.
simple.
Unless your mission's message is perfect and you don't need our help.
And then share it with us because we want to hear it.
I want to see
use it
perfection.
for an example.
Yeah, I want to see perfection. Yep. Oh, thank you, Bev. Yeah, thanks so much for coming, as always. Awesome.
I think this is a real interesting coming back to how this can bring continuity in an organization.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things that a lot of organizations deal with on a daily basis, and anybody here that says we never have this problem, I want to know who it is, because we want to bottle up whatever you're doing and share it.
I want to see perfection. Yep.
Well, what I'm saying is the whole message throughout the organization.
Yep.
We've got 20 people in our organization and we struggle with it. Okay. We're pretty small. We struggle with it. So I know as organizations, when I say people, I'm talking about, not only paid staff, volunteers, board, donors. That really becomes a big thing about how do we get that across. And you don't have to go, guess what, everybody, we've got a new campaign. We're going to start sharing our new marketing statement. We send kids to camp. Okay. Well, that's not what this is about. What it is just in your communication that you start using it, and it will be adopted. You'll know that, that's how you, in campaigns, obviously a marketing campaign, but as just all your communication, as you start doing this, it doesn't have to be, oh man, this is one more thing I've got to start doing. Cause I don't know anybody. And if there's anybody here that's just, if you're here and you're a professional fundraiser or you're volunteer paid, because if you're putting more than 20 hours a week in it, and then I know that, because I know Bev for a fact doesn't get paid, and I know she puts more than 20 hours a week. You're a professional. Okay.
Yeah. 100%.
So my point is if you're doing this and you're trying to get this going, this is not something to be another task added onto your plate.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I'm so busy. I've got so much going on. This is just something simple to do. And that's why I said, you start small and then start working it and seeing how it goes. Because your first 2 or 3 shots at it may not work. Half the time I say we help nonprofits raise money, and the other half I say we help nonprofits raise more money.
Yeah.
It's not, this isn't like, well, Trevor doesn't call up Jason. I heard you say the other day, raise money, not raise more money, and we're going to have a talk. So it's not, we're just having a conversation.
No, I love that. I also think going down a different path, I'm really, really big on advertising for your event, advertising your mission, getting it out there, email blast, social media, however you go about doing it. I also think there's a tremendous opportunity to succinctly convey this 10-word or less message into a message that you can put out electronically, right, as well. So, Bev could be hitting up her entire database with that message about what the Share Center is doing. And I called it a tagline, and I said that affectionately, not because I was trying to be dismissive. It really can be a marketing piece that you can use as an intro, or they would call it a thumbnail these days, to gather attention, to garner attention in your community or nationwide or wherever your database may lie, right? And I think you should take these marketing tools like this message, and use it accordingly. It will work. And we're huge believers on getting your missions out there. Great way to start. Great way to start. So,
I want to share something really quick. I think this might kind of help bring that deal. And you said this, making a thumbnail, making something simple.
Yeah.
I think we're in a place in time where brevity is much more powerful than a whole bunch. Less is more, but now even less is less. That's why we talk about 10 words or less.
Yeah.
How many of us get an email, and as soon as I see the email click and I see it and I see more than about a paragraph and a half,
You're already checked out.
I kind of have already moved on to the next one because I'm like, yeah, I don't have to read that.
Yeah.
But if it's just one sentence,
Yeah.
you know, hey, Jason,
Yeah.
hey, click here to support the Share Center, you know, helping struggling families in Norman. I'm going to see that a whole lot faster than I am.
And
hello, Jason. As you
yeah,
know, the Share Center has been here
it's
in
a
Norman for the last
501c3
35 years.
and
You know, blah, 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 blah,
yeah,
blah,
yeah.
because it just gets so spammy.
Let
And I
me
think
throw some. Yeah, go ahead.
we have to, because we have to spam. What I mean by this is we use tools like Constant Contact or Insightly and all these different things to communicate,
Mm-hmm.
but we can do with less. And so when we're trying to get people's attention, brevity is so much better.
I agree. I'm a big believer in too. I'm a big believer in like not the long paragraphs, or I call them passages, dissertations, whatever. I'm a big believer in like that mission message, the marketing tagline or piece that we're working on in 10 words or less. And then listen, if you help children, or like Philip with the past, present, and future, if there's, you know, a triumvirate of people that you support and help, bullet them in one line underneath. I'm a big believer in that because people can take it in very, very quickly as opposed to having to read a paragraph or a passage. I'm very bullish on that. I know it sounds like I'm getting in the weeds a little bit, but I think it's impactful.
I think, and your point is right. You can have all this creativity and try these different things and try different stuff.
Keep it brief.
The point is to be brief. Again, if you walk up, and when the last time you walked up and, you know, and you said, somebody said, "Hi, my name's Fred Flintstone. I live in, I work for," I can't even remember what I started to use the Flintstones as a kid. I can't remember it all. But anyway, the whole point is, "Hi, well, I'm with ABC Charity, and we help a triumvirate of people out there doing past, present, and future things. We help pilots, we help non-pilots, we help struggling mothers, and we have a program for this." Pretty much you're going, oh, good gosh. It's like having somebody said, we were same pool another day. Somebody said they were with a certain multi-level marketing company. And Trevor's like, where'd you go? I said, as soon as I heard him start doing that, I started kind of swimming away. We don't want people to swim away from us when we're talking about this.
No, we want
to just promote a conversation. No different whether it's verbally, whether it's visually. You know, we're putting it in on an email, we're putting it on a message, on social post. It's just got to be something simple, because
or on your website.
Well, after a while, that's how some of the greatest, I was using that, you know, we have the tightest ship in the shipping business. Okay. When it absolutely positively has to get there overnight. Okay. Those things, because I know them because they've been said over and over and over. And that's why they call them marketing taglines, marketing tags, you know, these slogans. Our nonprofits are that important that we should take the time to do those same things.
Yeah. Why don't we market the same way? Yeah. That we do.
Yeah. And that's
we do in for profit. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. I just, and you know, so many nonprofits are doing so many wonderful things that we feel like we've got to, you know, we have this urge to, I've got to tell more about what we do because it's so good. And actually the opposite.
I love that.
Effect.
Yeah.
It has the opposite effect. It just kind of pushes people away.
Yeah.
So as we're doing this, am I drawing people in or am I pushing them away?
Sure. And you get their attention with brevity, and then they'll understand your passion when you really get the opportunity to have that sit down or the ask or the telephone call or the face-to-face interaction at a networking event or an event itself or what have you. People will feel that passion, obviously. And then you'll be able to know where you're going to go.
All right. Last chance for questions. Anybody? Because if not, we're going to wrap it up, draw a winner, and get the show going.
And start planning episode 126.
Yeah. So if anybody's got a question, please don't a comment. You know, if you'd like to share something, we'd like to hear it. And while we're going through that, I'm going to get up our winner.
Love it. It's one of my favorite topics. I love this one. I like this one a lot. Yeah, I hope everybody got some value out of that.
Holy smokes. Guess who won this week? Calvin Fields.
Hey,
Congratulations, Calvin.
Calvin.
All
Right on,
right.
Calvin.
Calvin's won
Thank
a
you, sir.
trip.
Awesome.
Thank you for being here, Calvin. It's always fun to have you here.
Shut up.
know.
Shut
Oh,
up.
you're so
I
welcome.
cannot.
So
I won't
welcome.
do it, Calvin.
No.
Jason's tried. I will not shut up.
Yeah,
I really try. I just can't do it, sir. That's awesome, man.
All right.
Congratulations.
Well, please,
Thanks for coming.
If you have any questions at all, if you have anything that, offhand, you come back later, please reach out to Trevor at hjfundraising.com, Jason at hjfundraising.com. If you'd like to have a coaching session, because, I really want to dig into this deeper. I really didn't feel like doing it on the webinar live, but I'd like to do it. Or if you're watching a recording,
reach out to
offer.
Us. Yep.
Go to hjfundraising.com. There's a place for coaching. Click that, set an appointment, and one of us will get set up with you. Thank you again so much. Thanks, brother, for being here.
I love that one. Thank you, man. Yeah. Good stuff. All right, everybody. Yep. And be thinking about Maui. It's a very special place to us. I just can't. I'm devastated right now. Hearts are going out to Maui.
Our team is right now. We're changing reservations and stuff. And we had somebody said, well, if it smells like smoke, we don't want to go. And I told Trevor, I said, the whole town burned down. Literally.
Yeah.
The town is gone.
I'm not trying to end on a somber note. It's such an
anyway.
iconic place. I honeymooned with my wife there. We did the humpback whale migration trip there. I'm heartbroken. So my heart's going out to them right now. You guys all have a great Thursday afternoon, and we'll see you all next Thursday, same time, same channel. Thanks so much.